Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and the Batman tests this Year 2 detective with a Riddler who comes off like the guy at a game night who poorly explains the rules and then just starts singing falsetto church songs. Hey, spoilers ahead, because while we were led to believe the Riddler might have known that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person, in a great twist, he suddenly implies that he doesn't actually know Batman's identity.
What a twist!
But new evidence does leave enough up for interpretation that, by the movie's ending, the Riddler might actually know Batman's identity and spoke the name Bruce Wayne to threaten Batman, making it even more worrisome that this creepy know-it-all is now making friends. I'm gonna break down what the Riddler knew and when he knew it based on the evidence laid out in this Batman film. So when the Batman and the Riddler first meet face to face in Arkham, the Riddler smiles and says, "I told you I'd see you in hell," referring to the note in the fireproof bag attached to the explosive that he sent to Wayne Tower. And then the Riddler monologues, "If only you knew how long I was waiting for this day, for this moment. I've been invisible my whole life. I guess I won't be anymore, will I? They'll remember me now. They'll remember both of us." And take it away, Paul Dano.
Bruce Wayne.
And at this moment, Batman eyes the security cameras recording this conversation, panicking that the city authorities will now know his identity, but trying his best not to show that on his face. And then the Riddler rants about being present when Thomas Wayne promised his renewal fund, how he suffered a bleak childhood watching rich orphan Bruce Wayne get all the attention instead. And then the Riddler comes back to the name. Bruce Wayne? Bruce Wayne? He's the only one we didn't get, but we got the rest of them, didn't we? And that snaps Batman and snaps us back to reality. Right, of course, the Riddler could not have known Batman and Bruce Wayne were the same person, right? Because after killing Mayor Mitchell and Commissioner Savage and DA Coulson, the Riddler's next target was going to be the billionaire Bruce Wayne. The bomb that Alfred opened was meant for Bruce, and the Riddler included in that a fireproof envelope containing the "See You in Hell" note that was intended for Batman to discover after Bruce's death. So you would think from that, two different people, right? And all these events unfold in under a week, so the Riddler had to perfectly time his attacks and mail out that letter bomb for Bruce, so he really wouldn't have had much time to alter his plan halfway through. So it's safe to assume, at least, that the Riddler at least went into this assuming that Bruce Wayne was a separate person from the Batman, that Bruce Wayne was one of his corrupt targets, but that Batman was a separate identity that the Riddler saw as an inspiration, part of his team, a masked vigilante who, like him, used fear to force Gotham to change. And the Riddler even said it didn't matter to him who was under the mask because the mask is the identity. Indeed, from a literalist interpretation, when he tells Batman, "They'll remember me now, they'll remember both of us, Bruce Wayne." By us, he didn't mean himself and Batman, he meant himself and Bruce Wayne, the other orphan at the top of his mind in this moment. And he's just repeating the name Bruce Wayne to mock the media, who repeated this other orphan's name over and over again, who got all the attention. This is like Jan Brady saying, "Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha."
Why did you say that name?
Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne. But there is a reason why Batman was so fooled in this moment. And it's because there really is nothing to indicate at first that the Riddler's context shifted from Batman. And we know the context was all Batman at first because he said, "I told you I'd see you in hell if only you knew how long I was waiting for this day, for this moment." Nothing to indicate that he then shifted to Bruce Wayne at first. Like Paul Dano, a really good actor, deliberately takes no pregnant pause, he signals no transition of thought, he just maintains his calm, steady demeanor. And that's why this misdirect worked on us. Grammatically, the antecedent is vague. Now sure, you could argue that the Riddler just has a damaged mind and he rambles from one subject to the next without notice. But this movie stated that he does not make grammatical mistakes like this. We learned that the L versus la mistake was actually an intentional clue leading Batman to URL rataalada.com. So the Riddler must have known that his phrasing would lead to some confusion. I mean, rewatch this clip. He is clearly savoring saying the name Bruce Wayne, using it to see what kind of a reaction he'll get from the guy across the glass from him. Riddler does not seem confused here. He is clearly in control. And that brings me back to the carefully pre-laid steps of the Riddler's plan. There was one step, however, that does not make much sense. The orphanage. The orphanage! orphanage? When Batman and Gordon misinterpreted El Rata Alada to mean the penguin and overlooked that law versus L clue, the Riddler on his website wrote "interesting" and said he needed to show them more, and then used that orphan riddle to lead them to the orphanage. But if you think about it, this was a really unusual step in the Riddler's plan, because every other time he followed where his targets would already be, killed them, and then left love letters for Batman at the scenes of those crimes to give him more information. And also, all of those steps involved either publicizing that death to the media or releasing a ton of information to the media right afterward. They were all very public events. The orphanage is completely private. Arguably, the only people who knew that the Riddler did anything there were just Batman and Gordon. The Riddler lured Batman to this remote orphanage where he set it up to be this kind of haunted house. He painted all over the walls phrases like, "Where it all began, sins of the father, renewal was a lie," and then projects in the ballroom this video of Thomas Wayne's renewal fund promise. And really, in terms of the plot of this movie, this scene just teases information to Batman that he was going to learn anyway from the crooked cop Kenzie and from the Thomas Martha Arkham Secrets video that the Riddler already planned to release to the public. It was the allegations in that video, not the stuff learned from the orphanage, that led Bruce to Falcone. And really, it was Selina who brought Kenzie to them to reveal Falcone was the true winged rat boss. So looking back, the orphanage was either an insanely hastily assembled redundant backup step to course correct Batman to follow the money, or a completely unnecessary step in the Riddler's plan. Except the orphanage actually served one key function in this plot and needed to be in this movie because it made certain that Batman was not in Wayne Tower at the time of the explosion, and to prove to Riddler that if Bruce Wayne, a shut-in who supposedly never leaves his tower, if he survived that blast, that Batman and Bruce Wayne were probably the same person. Now, the Riddler might not have known for sure at first that Bruce Wayne was Batman, but by luring Batman away from Wayne Tower to that orphanage where he could confront him with the Wayne family's dark secrets, he could be sure that Batman/Bruce would receive the "see you in hell" note after the blast and continue to join him in his mission, but make it look like he was trying to kill Bruce Wayne. And now that the Riddler knows this truth, he would have some leverage over him. Therefore, I think it's a completely valid interpretation that the Riddler did know that Batman was Bruce Wayne, that he carefully rehearsed his speech to Batman in Arkham with intentionally vague grammar to initially scare him into thinking he knew his identity, but then at the right moment, backpedal and play dumb so that then he could try to appeal to Batman's fractured identity, make him feel super guilty for his privileged, spoiled past, and to let go of that past to embrace his new identity of the masked monster and join Riddler in his purge of the city's true evil. Now that much, yeah, as we saw, was a total reach for him to expect. So Riddler needed something to threaten Batman with, and that thing is just enough paranoia that the Riddler might know Batman's biggest secret and could at any point share it with the cops or with any of the Jokers in the neighboring cells. And as a meta clue to us, the viewers, this movie showed the Riddler including the word "hush" in his doctored video, which I think was a clue for us pointing to the Hush comic storyline, which ends similarly with Riddler in prison, where the Riddler proves that he knows Batman is Bruce Wayne, but Batman responds, "A riddle that everyone knows the answer to is worthless." A point that the Riddler has to concede, finally learning to hush himself. Now again, what makes the scene so great is that it does not explicitly state either way how much the Riddler knows, and really leaves it mostly on our interpretations of Paul Dano's acting. But it remains true that there is enough in this movie to indicate that the Riddler could have deduced the truth, and that vagueness is the point. The best Riddler is one who leaves us with more questions. You can check out our Gotham Noir shirt at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching, Batman.